Let's talk about pricing. How do you price right? How do you decide what price to place, to charge for your product or your service as a reseller, as an entrepreneur? And the answer is actually quite simple. Many people will look at what competitors are charging and then they charge the same, or maybe slightly lower. And that is where your problems begin. Because pricing is not just about a number. Pricing will affect your profit. Pricing will affect how customers see your business. And it will also affect whether, if and whether your business will grow or whether it struggles. Yet far too many entrepreneurs spend too much time choosing a logo, thinking about a pricing strategy, and stuff like that. But let's talk about how to price your product and how to price your service. You're listening to Ndegwa on IMOX, in my own experience. Let's begin. Why does price matter? Price matters because it's what you get in exchange for your service or your commodity, your goods. At first, it might seem simple. You just take a number, put it on the product, wait for customers. But the pricing is actually much more than that. And it does much more than generate revenue. It will communicate value. When the price is too low, customers will question your quality. If your price is too high, customers will hesitate to buy. If you get the right price balance, your customers' expectations, their perception of your value and of the commodity or the service will affect the profitability. And never forget that. They need to perceive it right. Here is an important, listen to this important point. Improve your pricing so that you can increase your profit. It will work faster than increasing your sales. It will do better for your bottom line than just increasing your sales. Many entrepreneurs, they spend a lot of time chasing more customers, chasing a better pricing strategy, adjusting the pricing strategy, trying to produce better results from customers that they already have. And that is why pricing deserves serious attention. Number one, let's look at the things that matter. Number one, understand the market. Before deciding what you want to charge, you need to understand the market that you're operating in. And as a result, a good pricing decision is going to be based on information, and it is never going to be based on an assumption. More often than not, you'll find sellers, entrepreneurs, assuming what the customers want. They assume they know what their competitors are doing. They assume that they know what people are willing to pay. But assumptions can be expensive. The more information you gather, the more information you have about your market, about your customer, about your product, the better your pricing decisions will be. And there are 4 key areas that I'd like us to look at today. One is market information. And the second, or when you talk about market information, you need to ask yourself, What prices already exist in the market? What complaints are customers making? What features do they value the most in that particular commodity? What would influence as a customer, what would influence me and make me buy this product, this service? It should not be based on feelings. It should be based on facts. So we need to understand what the competing offers are. Let's try and understand what competitors are actually offering. Not only do they look at their prices, they look at the full offer. What exactly do they offer for the service or along with that service? What other features are included? What level of service do they provide? What makes their offer attractive? Why have people been buying from them? Two businesses can charge the same but deliver a very different level of value. When you understand competing offers, you can find ways of standing out without simply becoming cheaper. In fact, I'd like to say here that cheap is not necessarily the best. Number 3, understand your client. What does this mean? Your client in this instance is your customer. Who exactly is your customer? And what problems are they trying to solve? Suppose your customer suppose you sell dog food. Your customer actually isn't the person who's buying the dog food. Your customer is the dog. So you need to understand what it is that dogs actually like about your food. The buyer will only look at the packaging, probably one or two other things. But the dog is the animal, is the thing that you actually want to care about. So different customers like different things. Some care about convenience, others care about quality, others focus mainly on price, and so on. So the better you understand your customer, the easier it is for you to align your price with the value that they perceive. The fourth thing is you need to understand how your product or your service is distributed. So you need to have a lot of distribution intelligence. What is it that affects pricing? How does your distribution intelligence affect pricing? It's by helping a business understand the costs and the efficiency involved in delivering a product or a service to you, the customer, allowing it to set prices so that they remain both competitive and profitable. Why does that matter? It matters because every business, every step in every business between the business and the customer can affect the cost, and as a result, it can affect the profitability. Every single step. The more the steps, the lower your profitability. So the best pricing decisions are not made by the people with the strongest opinions. They are made by the people with the best, the clearest, the most accurate information. So you need to develop a very clear pricing strategy so that once you understand the market, the next step will be developing the pricing strategy. And this is where the difference is between a price and having a pricing strategy. Why exactly have you decided to price your commodity at that level? Your strategy will inform that. It's the thinking behind the number. Without a strategy, your pricing will become, let me say, ineffective. It will become reactive. It will become, today it's here, tomorrow it's there, because there's no real strategy to it. A competitor lowers his price, you lower yours. They lower theirs more, you lower yours more, until eventually you both exit the market because you are not pricing with a strategy. You are pricing based on them. So this business comes and runs a promotion, you also start running a promotion. This business starts changing the color of their shop front or their ads, and you do the same. That's not a strategy. That is reactive thinking. So you need to understand that your pricing strategy will depend on your position in the market. It will also determine your position in the market. And so you always ask yourself, do you want to compete on price? If you're competing on price, are you actually there for the profit, or do you just want to be there to while away your time? Do I want to compete on quality? That's another good question. Do I want to compete on convenience? Do I want to compete on expertise? Your answer matters. Your answer matters because different positions support different prices. A business that is known for quality and reliability or expertise can often charge more. Businesses that are known purely for affordability may move things, but people will always have a second thought, silently have a second thought about it. So your pricing strategy should also support your business goals. What exactly are you in business for? Your prices must cover your costs, they must generate for you a profit, and they must support growth so that you can continue delivering whatever value you have placed on your product or your service. If a price attracts customers and leaves no room for profit, it will increase sales, but it will weaken the business. Very many businesses have closed for that reason alone. The strongest pricing strategies focus on value, not on fear. Because if you lower your prices always, it's not always the best thing. It's not the best way to compete. Today you'll sell a lot, but tomorrow customers will not always come for the lower price. The better solution is to become more valuable. So I want to ask you a question. Have you been charging too little? One of the biggest pricing mistakes entrepreneurs make is underpricing. What is to underprice? It's what happens when you have a certain value and you price lower or less than the value that service delivers. It's when you have a product or a service and you charge less than what the customer would otherwise be willing to pay. Because you believe that the lower the price, you'll automatically attract more customers. And so you set prices from fear instead of strategy. Underpricing creates problems. One is that it reduces profitability. It makes growth very hard. It limits your ability to improve operations. It limits your ability to invest in the business for growth. It limits your ability for financial stability or to have financial stability. And worst of all, it can damage perception because price communicates quality. If your price seems unusually low, some customers, and increasingly many, will always wonder, why is it so? Why are the prices so low? And they begin to question your professionalism, your reliability, the standards of the quality, the value. And that is why price testing matters. You should go in with a strategy, but quite often you need to test the price. sometimes it's very, very tricky. You need to go in with a firm price, but sometimes you can be in a market that allows you to test for the price. So instead of assuming that the current price is correct, you gather evidence. You watch your customer behavior, you study demand, you monitor feedback, try and understand why people are buying your commodity. And if one of the main factors is price. So the goal is not to find the lowest possible price. The goal is to find the right price, the price that is just right, that customers will consider fair for your product or your service, and which will also give you the desired profitability. Pricing isn't a one-time decision. Markets will keep changing. The economy will change. The factors that affect the cost will change. Customer expectations will change. Your value may also increase over time. So pricing should be reviewed regularly. Say, for example, you do your business is giving talks about to motivate people to have a better life. If you go in and you charge cheaply, I can assure you there are very many people who will lock you out of their minds, out of their thinking, and it's not good. So you need to price right so that people can give you have a value, can value what it is that they believe that you're going to deliver. Suppose, like I said earlier, I mentioned about dog food. People don't know that the dog is the customer. People think that that lady, that man who's coming to buy the animal feed is the customer. Actually, the animal is the customer, whether it is fish feed, or whatever it's called, or cattle feed, or sheep feed, or chicken feed. If you feed your chicken with something that is cheap, but instead of your chickens laying at 85% every day, they are now laying at 60%, you will have saved money but lost it. So you need to ask yourself exactly who is my customer. Understand why your customer would be a repeat customer, and make sure that you price for them to be able to repeat, to come again and again and again. It's not just about a number. It is about so much more than just a number. This has been IMOX in my own experience. Until next time.